Good afternoon, you guys. Good afternoon. I hope you all can see me and hear me. I am, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Um, I hope you all can see me and hear me. I am sitting in front of the window, and though I've turned the blinds, it still seems like a lot of light. And, when you try to do all of this safety stuff, so I had two key authentications to sign on to Facebook. I did it on my desktop, but I had not done it on my laptop. So, okay, I'm here. How are you all? Is it hot where you all are? It is hot as the dickens here. You know what? I curled my hair before I went to church, and the humidity is so high. By the time I walked outside this morning, my curls were slain in the spirit. Anyway, we're going to continue on. The last time that we were together, we did denial, and today we're going to finish up on denial and touch blame. Yeah. And of course, I have a quote for you. Yes, I do. I'm putting my phone on Do Not Disturb. I don't need any interruptions. The quote that I have for you guys is, and it reads as, "There is nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find the ways in which you have altered." Think about what that said. There is nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find the ways in which you have been altered. And I thought about that. How many times do we get out of relationships and go back into relationships and it still doesn't work? And it works even less because why? You have changed. I thought that this was penned by Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela penned that. And we're going to start with our serenity prayer, the other one. God, grant me the ability to reject the things about me that are not true, the humility to accept the things that are, and the discernment to know the difference. Please grant me the ability to reject the things about me that are not true, the humility to accept the things that are, and the discernment to know the difference. And we're going to finish up on denial today. And there are three definitions for denial. Three definitions. Asserting that any particular statement or allegation is not true, which might be accurate or inaccurate. Asserting that any particular statement or allegation is not true, which might be accurate or inaccurate. The second one is the refusal of a request. And the third one is asserting that a true statement is not true. Okay. Hold on to those three. The state of denial usually feels more comfortable than confronting difficult feelings or circumstances. Living in denial for too long will only backfire. Denial may feel easier, but it actually only intensifies whatever challenging feelings you are dealing with, which makes it difficult to move forward. Makes it difficult to move forward. Dr. Rachel O'Neill says that denial is a defense mechanism, and it exists to help us cope with difficult situations. It's never really helpful per se, because eventually an individual will need to face the reality of that situation. She goes on to say that avoiding the reality of a situation can be more harmful than whatever painful feelings are wrapped up in it. It may feel more comfortable to pull away from the hard things, but what happens in reality is that the more you distance yourself, the deeper you plunge, usually without even knowing it. The more you become entrenched in that denial, the harder it is for you to pull yourself from it. People who live in a state of denial will experience short-term consequences, like feelings of isolation and anxiety and sadness. Long-term consequences can include the feeling that you have never worked through your experience, and you may end up feeling perpetually stuck in it. What does the Life book say about it? What does the Life book say about it? You got your Bibles? And this one is so simple. It is just in your face denial. And then at the end, you tell me which one of those three definition fits this scripture. Luke 22:34. And I'm reading from the Amplified Classic Edition. But Jesus said, I tell you, Peter, before a single cock shall crow this day, you will 3 times utterly deny that you know me. Which one of those 3 definitions? I say it's asserting that a true statement is not true, because Peter denied it. He denied even knowing him, didn't he? Even though he did. Asserting a true statement is not true. Even in the Bible. Yes. Now, let's go on to blame. Blame is a natural reaction to your loss. You feel as though you need to blame someone, whether that be your former partner, God, yourself, friends, or the person with whom your partner had an affair with. So, that partner could be affair with another woman, or you're dating someone and you find that you are the side chick. The problem with blame, though, is what it leads to. What it leads to. Blame and anger. Blame and anger work together. They work together. And when they work together, they produce resentment. They produce resentment. Proverbs 29:11, again from the Amplified Classic, says, A self-confident fool, a self-confident fool utters all his anger, but a wise man holds it back and steals it. Just like love, anger is a choice. You choose to love someone, yes? And even God doesn't make you. He says, you have a choice to love me. You have a choice whether or not to be angry. When you get angry, you choose to get angry. No one is forcing you to get angry. People say, you make me so angry. That's not a true statement, is it? No one can make you mad without your permission. Without your permission. So, I'm just going to speak for me. I will wake up in the morning and something gets under my skin. And I say, not today, devil. Try me tomorrow, but not today. I have made a choice. I made a choice that not today will you get me out of character. Not today will I get angry. Because there's several reasons, but one, it could not be about me. Maybe they're just having a bad day. Whatever it is, I choose not to be angry. So, anger is a choice, and you must choose to control it if you want to be a loving person. If you want to be a loving person. When you fuel your anger with accusations and that self-justified shifting of responsibility, It's not me, it's you. It's not my fault, it's your fault. You shouldn't have done da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But if I could have done all of that, could you have helped me out? Did you see I was overworked? Did you see I was overloaded? I used the analogy yesterday, day before, in my announcement, when we make choices and we don't bother to investigate or see why it is that way. I'm not 420 friendly. But what if I had someone to move in with me, and because I didn't check, I'm losing my necklace, and because I didn't check, he is 420. Do you know what that is? Yeah, I know what that is. He's into weed and I'm not, and it will never be in my house. So, whose fault is it? Mine, because I didn't ask. I didn't have boundaries. I didn't have any of that. So why didn't he tell me? Well, it wasn't his place to tell me. He was coming into my house. Now that was a hypothetical. No one lives in Donna Marie's house. Okay. But do you understand what I'm saying? Right? It's a choice. And so then you blame that person. He didn't, I use the analogy again, he didn't know that she was argumentative. Why? Because he wasn't looking at the whole picture. He was just looking, right? And then he got into something. And man, she did this and she did that. But you're responsible for that, because you didn't do your due diligence in setting up boundaries and spending enough time out of the bedroom, kitchen, living room, wherever it was that it took place. You didn't spend enough time away from that to have a clear picture of what was going on. Dave Burris, and I reference him all the time, but he always says that you should always see that person that you're into, you should see them angry or mad or see them out of pocket, and then you can judge if you want to go forward with this, but not after the fact. You need to see it in the courtship, in the dating process, so that you won't be forever blaming because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Bitterness is a steady disease that eats you from the inside out. And it seldom, very seldom, does it affect the other object, person, whomever. Very rarely does it affect them, but it eats you up from the inside. Yeah. Job 5, verse 2, and I'm reading from a new translation, Tree of Life version. It says, "For resentment kills a fool and enslaves the simple, the naive." Resentment kills a fool and enslaves. And envy enslaves the simple. You must be honest with yourself and others. You must see your character flaws that may be adversely affecting the relationship with your partner, your parents, your children, co-workers, and it goes on and on. Stop justifying yourself and work on overcoming your faults. So what am I saying? You're not ready to date anyone. That's the reason why a change needs to happen. Stop justifying yourself and work on overcoming your faults. It is definitely not a one-sided ordeal. So when that person says, "Why did it go awry?" Start with you. Start talking about what you did before you turn everything over to finger pointing. And didn't they say that if you point, then there's 4 pointing back at you? Yeah, don't you remember that? What you can learn from your feelings of blame. What can you learn from your feelings of blame? Work on keeping your feelings in perspective. Work on keeping your feelings in perspective and accept your own responsibility for that situation, as it is what? Never one-sided. Get to know yourself and not be blind to opportunities for personal and spiritual growth. Get to know yourself and not be blind to opportunities for personal and spiritual growth. And this is the last Dave Burris that I'm going to do. He always says, here, Here, right here we grow. Here we grow because we want something. We must be willing to make a change for it. Reflect your growth and change and see how that works for you. Watch what you start to attract. Now that wasn't so hard, was it? It wasn't so hard. But where are you in those definitions? Are you asserting that a true statement is not true? Are you asserting that a particular statement or allegation is not true? Just basking in denial. Is that you? Then stop it. Stop it. Because you want something. Yeah, you do. And you need to make a change to get it. Thank you ever so much. Look, you don't see me with tea, do you? It is blue blazing hot outside. I made some iced tea, raspberry, strawberry, hibiscus tea. And when I sign off, I've got a big glass waiting for me. I hope you all have some iced tea, water, staying hydrated. It is so hot, and the humidity. Anyway, I'll see you guys again in 2 weeks. I don't know. We're still going to be right here in this vein, but I have to wait to see what Leroy says. Just when I say something, he says no. So I need to ask him what we're doing next. So I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you for joining me, and have an amazing the rest of the day. Yes. Good night.